Hello, everybody. This is some breaking news here. I am live with our member, Shannon Rose. She is in Italy right now, currently on lockdown. Okay, so she's experiencing. Sorry about that. That's my cat and making noise in the back, the kitten. She is in lockdown right now. So she's still running her business, right, Shannon? So she's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like. And let's just back up a little bit. Tell us first how this all unfolded, because those of us who are in the United States right now, or maybe in the UK, I know France is currently on lockdown in Spain, but those of us who are in countries where this really hasn't happened yet, we're just seeing like school closing, events closing. Is that how it all started to roll out for you too?
Yeah, that's right, it did. Hi everybody and hi Christina. I've just noticed on Facebook it's got my husband's name there, so my name is not Nick. Yeah, so basically for us it happened. My children have now been home. We're going into our fourth week with the kids at home.
Four? Oh my God.
Yes. Yes, so I have two little ones. I've got a 6-year-old and my son. We were talking just before we hit live. My son turns 3 tomorrow. Um, so we are heading into tomorrow is going to be day 9 under lockdown here in Italy. I'm in a small town that borders Switzerland. So we're right up in the north, but we're actually in the region of Lombardy, which was the very first region that was the hardest hit with the coronavirus when it all actually started to come out here in Italy. So we're actually in that region, but we're right up to the north. And we're almost at 3,000 meters here. And honestly, we thought we weren't going to be affected by it. Here we are, day 9, heading into day 9 of lockdown here, like severe lockdown, like, and I'll go into the details of it in a moment for you guys. But yeah, we honestly didn't think we're at 3,000 meters, we're far away, but now we do have 3 active cases of coronavirus here in our town.
Wow.
And we are a very, very, very small town, but we also are a tourist mecca. We survive off winter and summer, so we're a ski town. So there is a lot here, a lot of people who have lost jobs. Resorts have obviously all closed down because we're in the Lombardy region, and before we actually closed we were running at about 60% capacity for the 2 weeks leading up to the closure. So the resorts here were being affected by it anyway.
They were, and this has been going on for 4 weeks. You know what I'm going to do? We're just going to put you on everyone hold for 1 second. I'm going to shut my camera. I'm going to grab that ball from my cat because it's driving me crazy. Hold on 1 second. Let me get that annoying ball. I'll be right back.
So as Christina heads out, I'll share a little bit more with you all. I don't know where you guys are located, but feel free to please let us know in the comments where you are, where you are. I am doing, I'm letting people know what it's like here, and I'm really blessed and grateful that Christina has, asked me to come into you guys. One thing I feel that really needs to be shared is also, like this is a very, very real situation, and America is going, like, you guys are going down this route, and I don't say that to put fear in you, but I really want to be here to empower you that it's not as bad as the media is making it out to be.
It's not. Okay, so what exactly is it like? So can you, because I've heard that people in Italy, you can get the death, like be considered like a murderer if you go out, like you can get life in prison if if you walk out and
Yeah,
break the, my God,
yeah.
that's scary, scary stuff.
So you can be charged very heavily. You can be faced with time behind bars in terms of like life sentences and things like that. I really feel that that is hearsay. That's not the information that we are getting here.
Oh,
So
good.
in terms of like what it looks like where we are now, so leading up to this time, there was 2.5 weeks where we were in this period of uncertainty. We knew what was happening in Italy. We knew people were dying. We knew it was happening just over our mountain range here in the next town over. Like, we knew there were cases there. And to be honest, we thought, like I said, we thought we were safe here in our little town. But obviously, because we're in that region, we fall under the decree that the Italian president set for us, and therefore we also headed down that route. So before we went into full lockdown, which was 9 days ago, heading into 9 days ago now, the schools closed. The restaurants, they all were not allowed to operate past 6 p.m. here. And there were a lot of things that were cancelled. So we had Carnival here, that was all cancelled. Any gatherings that were, of greater, congregation of people, they were all cancelled. So that kind of started to put a little bit of fear into, the people here in our town. And we're wondering, like, what is this going to look like? How is this going to turn out for us?
And that was 9 days ago?
Yeah, that's right. So
that started, so the time is about 9 days between the total lockdown and like things just closing.
Yeah, so things were kind of tapering for about 2 weeks before that, and then everything had to close. So now we are in this lockdown until the 3rd of April. The last couple of days of March, they're saying like maybe 28, 29, 30 is when they will, the Italian president, they will come together, they will look at the cases, how things are either progressing with the virus, which I'm really hoping that they won't, and that then, life can start to return to normal.
So in the last 9 days, how has it been? I mean, like, can you go anywhere, or is there pharmacies open, supermarkets, or like, what does it look like out there?
It looks like a ghost town.
Wow.
It looks like a ghost town. So there is, as I said before, we have a small town. When we're in the peak of winter, the capacity here is about 20,000 people. We have 2 pharmacies. We have one very small hospital that unfortunately does not deal or see pediatrics. So as I said earlier, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, which can be a concern. So we have no pediatric care here. In terms of testing and things like that, because we are a small town, everyone actually needs to be transported from here about 45 minutes away for any care. So anything that does go wrong, they need to be transported out of our town. They have trauma care here only in our little town. You can go to the pharmacy. You can go to the supermarket, but only one member from the family can go to the supermarket.
Wow. So what about like prescription drugs? Are they still available to you if you're on specific ones, or is there like a shortage?
They are available. However, transportation into the town is slowed dramatically. Our post is pretty much non-existent. So we had some friends from the UK got in contact with us yesterday actually and asked, like, do you guys need anything? Can we ship you anything? Like, what do you need? And, I said, as much as I would love for you to ship me over some things, it wouldn't get here for a month.
So there's no more, I don't know, do you guys normally have like Amazon, and so no more Amazon Prime, or?
We actually don't get that here because we are so high. As I said, we're so isolated that there's no duty free here. We live in a duty free town, so anything that gets shipped in, we have to pay extra taxes and things like that. So that kind of stuff, it doesn't really exist here anyway.
Okay, so because you're pretty, and you were thinking because you were so isolated that you wouldn't be affected by this, but yet the entire country is being affected. And so you're working from home now, so obviously you're a business owner. Just tell us what you do, what your business is about, and how you've been coping and managing to still work amidst all this chaos and uncertainty.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things to manage inside of this, being, I have 2 children, as I said, normally, I mean, I rely on them going to the nursery and I rely on them going to school. So having the children home has changed that, but given the fact that now my husband is out of work, he is at home. So what we're doing is we're really just creating schedules in our day. I'm still able to serve all of my clients. I'm running a 5-day training, series next week, Monday through Friday, just showing up and serving and helping women with their mindsets, because because I think this is one of the biggest things. A lot of online entrepreneurs, and I know your group, you're going to be starting to feel the effects of this. There's going to be a lot of
Oh yeah.
fear, right, around whether or not your
Oh my
business is
goodness.
going to survive,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And
There's a ton of fear and anxiety and just uncertainty about what is going to happen. I think it's more than the fear. I'm not like really that worried about the actual disease. It's more the fear of all this lockdown stuff. I think most of us are, panicking more about because it's like, it's like really like you feel like your rights have been kind of like taken away from you, right? You can't do anything. You can't go anywhere. It's like we're just so unused to that, that we've never experienced anything like that. I don't think anybody has.
I think that's one of the things, and I can see a couple of people here asking, some of the details. So we can, Angela here, she says she's in Rome. Angela, I hope you guys are doing really well down there. And like we can go out for a walk, but if you have found, walking where, it's not kind of obvious, there are police patrolling the streets here, so they are around. One of our friends here, they got pulled over the other night and they got a warning because they weren't driving to the supermarket, they were driving elsewhere, and that kind of thing is not, that's not permitted here. So as I say, you can go into the garden. You're obviously allowed to stay in your house. They have given warnings about taking children outside. We're not allowed to take children to the supermarket. We're not allowed to take children to the pharmacy. As I said, that's one person from each family allowed to go to the store. But in terms of like, basic rights to get outside and take a walk, you can 100% do that. It's that we get fined if we are not observing social distancing. So if we're not observing the social distancing rules and the police are, as I say, they are patrolling, they will fine you.
So you can take a walk, like, is there like a mile radius or a certain radius you can walk to, or like only around the block, or
No,
around
I
your
mean,
driveway, or?
as long as you are in the fresh air and you're observing the social distancing here, as I said, like we live up in the mountains. Houses here they're not, all of them aren't on top of one another. Like we do have a little bit of space here. It's going to be different for, Angela, for example, who's in Rome. Maybe she's in more of an apartment situation. It could be a lot more confined. So that is a lot more difficult for people living in Milano, Rome. Like that is difficult for them, right? Because they are more confined. Travel and things like that, even out of your own town, is not, it's not prohibited. I mean, it's not, you can't go out. You have to have a medical certificate to leave our town. You're fever checked, to make sure that you don't have a fever. Everyone inside of the markets here are masked. Everyone's gloved. You have to put gloves on to go in there. Like it's proper precautions, making sure that everyone ultimately is okay.
And are they providing you with these masks and gloves when you do go out? Because I know there's a shortage for that if you don't have it. I know here in the United States, it's like, impossible to find any hand sanitizer, toilet paper, water. Right now, our supermarkets are just bare from these things. So, face masks are impossible to get as well. And I know we don't even have testing here it's very strange. I mean, you guys have the testing. We don't. It's very, very weird how we don't, we don't even have that available to us yet on a
It
wide
really
scale.
breaks my Right, and it really breaks my heart that this is actually happening in America because, you guys are the ones who need all of this the most. Like, I read a recent article and I'm more than happy to come back. I have it here and I'll put it in the comments for anyone. Cases, there are underlying cases that are exponentially larger than that, which is why you can often see spikes in the death cases, which is something that's happened here in Italy in the last week. Some of the actual reported cases are only a minimal percent, and then more people are carrying the virus, then all of a sudden it kind of exponentially grows, in a very, very short period of time. Yeah, so sorry, what was the question?
Well, I guess another question would be is like, do you know anybody who right now in Italy, a friend of yours that has the virus? Has anybody died, God forbid, that you know? Is anyone currently sick that you personally are friends with or family members?
No, but we do have a friend's sister who is a nurse down the mountain here, so towards Brescia, and they are under a lot of stress in their hospital systems. It is incredible, like the amount of stress that the actual hospital systems are under in this situation is absolutely, it's tragic. And that's the really difficult part about this, is that the hospitals are, they're at capacity. They're at more than capacity. They're pulling doctors who have been in retirement coming in to try to help out with the situation. They're treating patients in all of the hallways. And, they say, and I just have to be careful with what I say, there are younger people, than 60 who are being affected by this disease, this
So
virus.
that was going to be my question, because is it a myth that it's just elderly people? Are you seeing people, passing away and dying who are younger in the country as well, or getting sick, and this is something they're making it out just to be elderly people? But and I read that poor man who had his sister was 47 who died in the house and they wouldn't come get the body in Italy. I mean, that's really horrifying.
Well, that's the thing, and the pregnant women here in our small town are very, very concerned right now because, the care for the pregnant women who are due to have babies right now, the care for them also it's minimal to none, because the hospitals are at capacity dealing with patients from the coronavirus. So it's affecting so much more than what you think. And I think
Mhm.
this is why, one of the reasons that I'm so happy that you have me here is because you beautiful ladies inside of this Facebook community who are in America, who are in Australia, who are in New Zealand, you have the power right now to protect yourselves, to take precautions, to protect your family, and what that does with the people that you have contact with, right? Because we don't realize how many people we actually have contact with on a daily basis, and then you have contact with that person, and how many people has he or she has had contact with. And this is how it can get out of hand in such a short period of time.
And what would you suggest that those of us who are in countries that are not on lockdown now, to get a head start on this, what should we be doing? What exactly should we be buying? I mean, I know they say the essentials, but is there anything else you recommend? Or
Yeah, 100%. Firstly, please don't freak out about the toilet paper. I can't believe that,
That's
that,
crazy.
that, right? It's crazy. It's absolutely
I
crazy.
don't
And it's
get it,
really,
right?
we're in lockdown, and the toilet paper aisle here is full. It's
Yeah.
really interesting how considerate people here are really being, and they're not taking honestly more than what they need. Things are still going to be able to be refilled. It will obviously happen slower. So for example, the fresh food down here is there is not a lot of fresh food here. We made sure we had coffee, so that you could wake up every morning, you could still have your lovely cup of coffee. It's like, what do you love the most? Like, I haven't been able to have my hair done. My nails, I haven't been able to have my nails done. Those kinds of things that you're thinking, okay, so say for example, you're in lockdown for 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe you're due to have your nails done. Maybe you're due to have your hair done. Maybe go out and have those things done now, because you may not be able to have them done for, say, for example, 3 weeks. In terms of things that I would highly recommend that you are stocking up on, ultimately, please be considerate and be smart. This is the biggest thing, like younger people like us, if you are fit, you are healthy, and you're looking at taking care of your immune system, you are going to be okay. It's if we're taking things off the shelves that are taking things, for example, from elderly people, and they need that good food, right? They need those things. So, I really just want to put this call out to you, is just to really, really be sensible and use your common sense. Um, so I would highly recommend anything that you would need from the pharmacy to stock up on that now. Because if the virus was to come to your location and you are put in lockdown, one of the things I really want to recommend is that you stay away from the pharmacies, because
Mm.
everybody is going to be going in there. There's going to be a high level of foot traffic. That means a high level of touching different things, coughing, sneezing, all of that kind of stuff. And they say, don't worry about the masks and the gloves aren't going to do anything. But and I do agree in some regard. However, they are going to protect you, right? So one of the things that you really want to stock up on is anything that is going to help to protect your immune system, right? So make sure you're starting to do that now, not tomorrow or yesterday. Zinc, high dose probiotics, high dose vitamin C. If you're not in a town where you have a lot of sunlight, go and get yourself some liquid vitamin D. These kinds of things that are really going to be super helpful for your immune system. Nurofen, if you've got kids like I do, I stocked up on Nurofen. I got Nurofen for us. Cold and flu. I think you guys, it's like cold and flu tablets. I don't know if you have that there. Anything that, like, if you were to get
Or any of that. Okay. Like any cold medicine.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if you were to get a common cold, right? What would you have on hand? What would you go to the pharmacy to get, right?
Got it. Right.
Those kinds of things, like, really important. One of the things that we do, we have done here is more things like dry meat. So we went and got, like, so if if you guys can imagine Italy, right? We have lovely big things of salami and dried meats and things like that. So we stocked up on those kinds of things that aren't perishable, right? So we
Right.
can
Those
still get
are
our
bad.
protein. Yeah, protein in, high fat, that kind of stuff. So really look after your health. If you're someone who is, you have like a freezer, like a big freezer, stock up on things that you can have in your freezer, right?
That's good
You can,
advice. Right.
right? Fish, and I mean, you can freeze meat, you can freeze vegetables, you can freeze all of that kind of stuff so that you're really eating as healthy as possible during this time. You don't want to be eating all of the pastas, you don't want to be eating all of that because ultimately that's not going to help to keep your immune system nice and high. It's not going to have your body running on, it's not going to have your body running on its ultimate capacity, right?
Absolutely. You want to make sure you do the things that you're saying. And, I also add in that elderberry is very good for immunity. I take elderberry gummies. And actually, my daughter got married last month on February 6th, and almost the whole wedding party got sick, which was ironic. It wasn't the coronavirus, but I don't know what they had. And I actually didn't get sick. I really think it was because I take these elderberry gummies. So if you can find
Mm,
them, I know they're getting sold out, but elderberry is very, very good for your immune system. So if anybody's
yeah,
out
yeah, absolutely. I
there, I
heard
know,
that as well, so absolutely.
yeah, yes, that and turmeric and all of those, any types of those type of, natural solutions are really important right now with that. So
100%.
emotionally, how are you staying sane? I mean, like being stuck day after day in your house and your freedom taken away, like how do you deal with that without going crazy? Like, how are you handling that?
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the really important things to look at, especially, moving into this, depending on how your mindset is already. This is going to be a really crucial time for you to really look after your mindset. So the first couple of days that we actually went into full lockdown, I had a lot of emotion. I was up and I was down. And then one of the big things for me was like, I asked myself this question, and this might help some of you guys, is that, how do I want to remember this? Like,
Hmm.
how do I want to remember this time? Do I want to remember it as a mum who's flying off the rails because she can't get away from her kids and that, she doesn't have the time to, like, pour into her business and her clients? Or do I want to remember this as the time where I became stronger, I became more resilient, I became, more level-headed and grounded and connected and present with my family? And I obviously chose the latter. So things that I'm doing is not looking at the media. I am not filling my head with all of that. One source, we read articles that are being presented on the virus so that we're keeping up to date with it, but we're not watching, I don't know, like I think I watched Good Morning America this morning to see what was happening. Um, but in terms of like those kinds of shows and things that are really going to be impacting you in a negative way and creating more hysteria, right? If they're creating more hysteria and they're really playing into the fear, they're not going to be serving you. So you don't really want that, especially if you're a coach or someone who is a service based provider. You have to still be able to remain your highest self. So reading, like I'm reading a book right now, so I'm reading every night before I go to bed. My husband and I are making sure that we are giving one another time every single day to be away from each other and also be away from the kids, right? So we just have a bit of time every single day. So whether it is, you're going out for a little walk, excuse me, maybe he closes the door and he comes in here and he's just having some time on his own. But really just making sure that you're not on top of one another all of the time, right? As
That is,
much as you possibly can.
right. If you live with other people, you can really go crazy with that and, get on each other's nerves and, being cooped up and, and not being able to get out. I think this is such a great opportunity too. I was thinking about for gratitude because everything we take for granted, right? So like right now, I'm not on lockdown. I can still walk down the street or do something and you can't right now, but you're going to I'm appreciating it now that I can go outside because maybe tomorrow I won't be able to. And so I think everybody's got to stop and think about that, like going out to dinner, going to all these little things every single day that we do, these freedoms we have that are now suddenly being taken away from us. And it's like, wow, so I think we can really, be grateful and keep our heads set on what's coming when this is over, that we can actually start anew and be so grateful for everything that we have. But what you said was we can look at it two different ways. We can panic and freak out, or we can also look at it as a way right now to, I know a lot of you ladies out there have tons of those online courses that you bought and stuff, probably even some of mine that you have not done. So yes. Now is going to be the time. We still have internet. Imagine if this happened 30 years ago and there's no internet, then that would be really horrendous, right? We're still connected. We can still do online stuff. We can still do business. We can be creative about how we do business. We can move all our networking on the internet, like we're here right live. So that's the good news, right? That we can do that. But yeah, I mean, for you to be so brave, I really admire you that you are so calm and so brave and you got little children and you're right in the heart of it where we're just hearing, from all these scary stories out of Italy and that you are able to, have this great attitude. It's really, really amazing, Shannon, that you're able to do that because I'm sure not everybody that is keeping calm like you are.
Yeah, and I think that is, I ran a training on Friday actually for a group of women who were in America as they were going to pick up their children from, school, and they were being told that the schools were closing and they were picking them up on Friday. And the training that we had planned moved because obviously I'm here in Italy and they wanted to know all of the details. And that was one of the biggest things is that they're so afraid of the uncertainty. And what I really want to share with you guys is that it's going to blow over. It's not it's not Armageddon. This is not the end of the world. It's going to be here for 3-4 weeks. Yes, of course, we know it's going to affect the economy for potentially a period of time. But it's almost this crazy feeling, and I don't know if you can resonate with this, Christina, and some of you here, but it's almost like the ones who have an online business, I feel like I'm in a totally different world and I get to, my business gets to still run. I still get to show up and serve women. I still get to do those things that are inspiring and empowering, right? To create and lead change. And this is the absolute best time for those of us who are ultimately brave enough to step in as a leader so that we can give all those people who are kind of scared a big warm hug.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, we have our community here now, so 315,000 women strong, and we can be here even more time to be together, more time to collaborate, share ideas, really help one another online. And it's so true because back in my former life, I call it, I used to own a hair and nail salon back when I lived in New Jersey many, many years ago. I sold it in 2006. Now I'm thinking about salon. I'm like, my gosh, what a nightmare right now to own a restaurant, a salon, a store, a brick and mortar. I mean, we know we have members now, and we feel for you that if you do right now have those things, it may take some creativity, like maybe obviously hair salon, you're not gonna be able to get online, but there can be ways, using technology, like something when you were just talking about the kids and an idea just popped out to me. The kids are going to be bored. Why not get do virtual play dates? I don't know if that's possible, but everybody, like mothers who know each other, just get your computers on and get the kids to talk and chat with each other and start doing that. I mean, that might be an idea, because kids love to be on the computer and the iPads and stuff too. And the kids can virtually play. I don't know. That'd be a new thing. Virtual play date.
Yeah, 100%. And I in my Facebook group the other day, I put a post and I said like what can you do virtually that we could offer and share amongst one another? So a couple of
Hmm.
ladies are going to do some virtual yoga classes.
Oh, I
You know,
love
if you're in the health industry, like this is a great time to share some home workouts. You know, like doing those kinds of things that we can still show up for one another, but in a virtual capacity.
Yes, exactly. You could have virtual lunch together, coffee, work. You could work out. You could do meditation. You can do so many things and still be connected, yet not have to, be with the social distancing. You don't have to be physically near someone, but you can still, like me and you, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, and you're in Italy. We're so far away, yet we're right face to face. So it just, thank God, and that we have technology really, and that we're not being faced with, no electric or something serious like that. It could be
100%.
worse. It's worse.
A
I lived in South Florida for 12 years, and the last couple of years, when just being with the evacuation, I'd evacuate twice with the hurricanes, and um, luckily nothing happened. But the thought of when the electricity goes out, and people have lived through that in those regions, going weeks with no electricity too, and then no air conditioning, and that's probably even, almost worse, I would say. At least we have our heat, our electricity, our computers, our tablets. So we have to look at the bright side. We have to kind of flip it on its head and say, okay, this is bad, but it could be a lot worse. Let me look here through the comments here. Does anybody have any questions for Shannon here? Jennifer just said, I need ideas for a salon owner to do. I don't know how I will pay salon bills, let alone my bills at home. Jennifer, I just got an email from a salon that I go to, and they said they're not shutting down. And what they're doing right now is they're masking and gloving all their employees and sanitizing and having the people come in that way. They're offering that. So that might be something to do now to get customers in. I thought that was a good idea. They sent an email out. I actually have an appointment though with a different salon this Friday, and I haven't heard from them yet. I still want to go. Let's hopefully it'll still be open by then. But I would say, what could we do for something like that where customers can't come in? You may want to even go get them into a Facebook group and then maybe do lives for your customers of how to care for their hair before they can come in. This way they continue that loyalty to you, that they're going to come right back as soon as your door is open. So that might be something. Let's see here. Businesses can reduce hours. Barbara says, what do I do as an Adventist? I'm not sure what an Adventist is. Do you know, Shannon?
No, I don't. I was going to ask you the same thing. Can I just offer for anyone who is, a shop, like you actually have a shop front, you have nails, hair. Right now, if you are still open, maybe something that you can do is let people know as well that this is potentially coming, and that over the next few days, week, that you're going to offer something. Like, could you do something to actually bring them in early instead of their appointment being in a week or 2 weeks? Could you do something to incentivize them to come in now, to have their hair appointment, nail appointment? And that's going to give you an influx of business in the next week. Like maybe that's something that you could do to prepare in advance. And in terms of that as well, like maybe there's an opportunity, depending on the restrictions that your government places on you. Maybe you could have somebody like come to your home. You could still maybe take appointments at home if you are gloved. And we have like this spray. It's like a real fine mist sanitizer spray, like that we spray. So if my husband, he goes to the supermarket, he comes back, we actually have to spray him with that, and then all of the groceries. So we spray all of the grocery bags, all of that, and then everything is washed as well. So he will come in, I will spray him, and then he will go into the shower. And he'll have a shower straight away before he comes out into to be with the kids. So, you could still do that and just have precautions so that you're still essentially bringing business in.
And the thing is, if we do get to the point here in the United States or other countries where we're locked down, that's probably not going to be an option. So it's really going to be how to be creative. And like I said, those of us who have online businesses, you could start, selling ebooks or courses or, charging for meetings and stuff. You're going to really have to think out of the box. I just want to address, I'm looking at the comments. There was somebody said that elderberry may not. I've had a friend use elderberry. Doctor told her not to. It was actually detrimental with this virus. I haven't heard anything like that. So guys, whatever we say, check out with your doctor. Both of us are not medical professionals.
Yeah.
So Disclaimer, it works for me, might not work for you, only here. Don't listen to advice on social media, listen to your doctors, right? That's exactly 100% because there's a lot of stuff crazy stuff going on and what to take, this and that. I can only say what I take, but you take what's good for you. Anybody have questions here? Because this is a great opportunity to ask Shannon anything that you'd want to know, what it's like to live under lockdown right now. Or curfews or
things like too, like I'm drinking protein. I know I have it in a wine glass right now, but I'm drinking protein powder, which has like maca and things like that in it. So really healthy, but things like big buckets of protein that is going to give you, sustenance and what you can make smoothies and with frozen spinach and things like that. Those kinds of things to purchase as well right now are really it's a really great idea. Yeah, and water and things. Buy a filter that you can put on your tap.
That's a smart idea. We all went to the water bottles. Yeah.
Right. And buy a filter that you can put on your tap. It's going to be a lot more cost effective. Maybe initially higher in the beginning, but it's going to be cost effective in the long run, and then you have filtered water for the entire time.
That's a very good idea. Yes, and another little suggestion for those of you, like I said, in the United States or countries that you can still get to the store, think out of the box, think beyond the herd mentality. So where do people go first? Everybody rated Costco, Walmart, Target. So what you want to do is go to places that are more expensive, like a Sprouts. Yesterday I went to Sprouts. I don't know if you guys you probably don't have Sprouts in Italy, but it's like a Whole Foods type of store. So Whole Foods is going to have more. They had everything in stock. They even had water, but they were eliminating it because less people want to pay more. So you got to think outside of the box. Like where there be potential food sources. Like I went to TJ Maxx. I don't know if you know what that is over where you are. They have clothes, they have home goods, but they also have a section of like coffee, and they had protein with the nuts and the chocolate bars, and where you can't find the protein bars in the supermarket, TJ Maxx had them. So think about even stores like Staples, which is Office Depot, they may have some essentials there because people aren't thinking of those places. So reverse engine in your mind, if you're still searching for supplies, where would be some place where there could still be supplies that people aren't thinking of yet, and go there first. So you're going the opposite because people are still waiting online outside of Costco. I wouldn't go near a Costco. I mean, it's just, they think, oh, it's cheaper. I get it in bulk, but you're going to have to maybe pay more now, but have your supplies. It's not the time to be sitting online with 100 people. Exactly. Go the opposite direction.
Yes. And something to think about too, like depending on where you are, just keep in mind weather changes, right? Like if you're somewhere that, like for example, I know Australia and New Zealand, like they're heading into their colder months now. Like for example, I can't go out and buy a new sweater, right? I can't go out and buy new socks or new underwear or any of that kind of stuff. What I'm thankful for is I have a great big winter coat that allows me to go out in the -5-degree temperature and still take a walk. So that's something as well to consider, is that if there are, if there are weather changes due where you live, then consider that in what preparations that you might need to allow you to go outside, for example.
Exactly. I'm sorry for my dog barking, Puppy. I got Puppy and Kitten here who are stir crazy, I guess. They're feeding off the coronavirus energy. She hasn't been to doggy daycare this week, so I think that's a problem. Lola, come here right now. And of course she's making noise, but that's great advice, Shannon. So what would you say? So working wise, you're just plugging in. You're keeping a good attitude every single day. Has there anything? Let me just see if there's any other questions on here, and if I could grab Lola. Lola, come here, sweetheart, so I can pick you up. Come here.
Yeah, I think
children, the dogs.
I have my husband looking after my wild ones.
Okay, Home Depot and Lowe's. Lisa Marie, yes, great, good suggestion. I was at Lowe's yesterday, and they actually have rubber cleaning gloves there. They did a whole ton of them. Nobody's bought, and they had, which I didn't buy because I was like, okay, it's a little crazy. They had the paint suits, the hazard suits. Like, so
Oh,
I don't know, we
wow.
are going to need one. I should have probably bought one, but I didn't. But they had a ton of those suits like that. I guess you would, right, go out and want something like that. Well, those paper suits that you could throw out. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's extreme or not. Like, we're kind of still here, like, okay, is this being a little too extreme? But Home Depot and Lowe's, definitely, definitely. And let's see, paper towels. She found paper towels. Renee found paper towels at Office Depot. TJ Maxx, yes, yes, Bridget, TJ Maxx. Support our mom and
For,
pop stores. Yes, good idea.
and really quickly, just for anyone with, with kids, make sure you stock up on nappies, things like that. It is
Ooh,
also a really good opportunity. Like my kids, as I said, they've been home for quite a while now. We're moving into our fourth week with the kids at home, and my son is now toilet trained. So it's a
oh,
good opportunity to even like get your kids toilet trained, depending on how old they are, those kinds of things. So, really just, yeah, thinking outside the box. The other thing that I don't know, like if you don't mind me touching on for anyone with an online business, I know that there's been quite a few discussions in some of the other groups that I'm in about, not selling at this time and not doing anything at this time. And honestly, I really believe that, this is a beautiful time to serve one another and show up and support as long as you're leading with service and value before you're trying to sell people. And, really just ensure that you're not using the virus as a fear tactic to get people to buy your stuff. Like, I really just want to say that because I think that that's really out of integrity for human beings and us showing up to serve one another in our greatest capacity right now.
yes, and I would agree. If I don't know, I didn't hear that people are saying not to sell. I would say that is very bad advice. You've got to
Mm,
continue your business. We don't want to stop the economy from flowing. Right now is a great
exactly.
time to invest in online education and learning because you're going to have time on your hands and you'll have time to take those courses. And there's a wealth of knowledge out there, but obviously you don't want to buy anybody here and scare you into anything. No, do not purchase that. Purchase, what you need. It's still a good time to invest in yourself. It's always a good time to invest in yourself. It will pay off for you. You'll come up with one idea that could change everything for your family. If you're looking to get into online marketing, a lot of you, I know we have a lot of members who are always looking for that side hustle. They're looking to go get online. I'm sorry, Lola's being very naughty right now. um, and
Lola.
Lola, she's 11 months. She's being a naughty puppy. So yeah, they're looking to just be careful. You got with your expectations. Okay. Nothing
Mhm.
happens overnight. So if you're just entering into a new business, you really have to work it. It takes, if anybody lies to you and say, you're going to make, $10,000 next month, no, it's going to take time. If you can bring some income in now and take advantage of, that people are home and that they have time to learn and you can learn as well, that would be very good to do. I'm sorry, I'm literally wrestling this one here. What are you doing? You're being naughty.
And I think like, just on that topic as well, if that is something that you are interested in doing, you do have the time now to build some incredible foundations in
Mhm.
your business so that you're building that so that you can grow when things do return.
Yes. Yeah, how many times have, and I know we've all done this, but how many of you out there have purchased so many things and you're like, oh gosh, I never have the time. I'm just so busy. And so now here is an opportunity. Dust off those books. You don't even have to spend any money. You probably have. You've already probably spent a lot of money. Utilize what you already have first instead of
Yeah.
looking for the shiny new object, because I'm sure there's a ton of stuff on your computer that you just completely ignored, and take
Hmm.
it from there and really start thinking creatively with this. What are people's problems and how can you solve them? Because when you look in history, and you've probably heard this last couple of days, but the greatest fortunes that were ever made in history have been in times of the Great Depression, after 9/11, after horrible things. People have actually come up with solutions and actually made a ton of money, because they were able to think clearly and not go with the panic. It's like when real estate collapses, what do people do? They panic and they sell. Well, the smart people go buy up all those houses really cheap. And then
Hmm.
we look at them 10 years later, we're like, oh my gosh, you've got that house on the water. Well, they say, oh, I bought it in 2008 or
Hmm.
2007 when nobody was touching real estate. Same thing right now. We
Yeah.
see, I don't know much about stocks, but the stocks are plummeting. So start thinking. I would never suggest, I'm not a stock person. I wouldn't suggest just blindly buying stocks with a broker, but think about some of these types of companies that their stocks are falling. Even Facebook is falling right now, but you know that's going to come back. Netflix would be a great example. People are going to be home. Some of these entertainment and travel companies, so like the cruise industry, you buy Royal Caribbean and then in next year everything's great again, and now you're making some good money. So think of where your opportunities are for yourself and where you can
Yeah.
solve some issues. Like, I don't know. Look at this.
100%.
Look at this naughty dog. Let me kiss.
So cute, Lola.
Yeah,
Well,
she has
thank you.
attention.
Thank you so much. This has been so lovely, and I hope that this has helped some of the beautiful women inside of your community. And of course, if you have any questions, specific questions of what it's like, and you feel like you would love to ask me, please feel free to tag me or, reach out in the comments. I'm more than happy to share my experiences on something that you might have a specific question about.
Well, what I'm going to do for Shannon, I would love for you to be, our contact for the group from Italy. So I'm going to put a pre-approval for your posts because I know that you will use them wisely, and you can give us updates. This way you don't have to go through the whole queue of moderation because we get like 10,000 posts a day and it takes a while. So if there's anything happening in real time that we need to know, if you don't mind, you can keep us updated.
Of course.
We would love that for you to be our Italian correspondent over in Italy. So we have somebody there, and if anybody else too, let me know if you're in Spain or France or anyone else in the world that, we need to stay connected and keep each other informed. This way we can, have a strong community here that we can all, help each other, and we can know in real time instead of relying on the news, which you said is not a good idea. We have real people here experiencing this all in real time. So this one is, I guess she's telling me it's over. She's okay, baby girl.
I will come back and share that article with you ladies with some really interesting facts and things. I'll create a post and link that in for everybody.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shannon. You are a doll. You are so sweet. And I this is about not great circumstances to meet you, but I'm thrilled to meet you. I love your energy. You are just a doll. You're really, really kind to do this for our group. And I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much. And stay safe. And we do our virtual handshake now of namaste, right? Yeah. And everybody, Shannon will be here to answer any questions throughout the group. And everybody stay calm, stay safe, love to everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.